Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, December 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, we'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol JTAI, and very, very big move around this one today, big volume, and it's right now flirting up around those highs, which is where the first level is going to come into play. And nothing fancy here, nothing complicated. Literally just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up here at $3.80. So for that reason alone is why 380 is going to be a key level of resistance to watch moving forward. So keep an eye on that if you're somebody that likes to play those breakouts. As far as pullbacks, key area of sport that's got a whole track record of, bids showing up down here at about the 253 mark. You can see here through the history of things, once, twice, essentially 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Now, does the price pull all the way back down there? I have no idea, but if it does, then from a risk versus reward scenario, you got to like the probabilities that you could structure a trade plan around that area. Of course, there are no guarantees, so it's not like it's guaranteed to bounce from there, but there's certainly a track record of it having buyers that are hanging down around that area. So really, that's, in my opinion at least, the most straightforward way to go about this is, you got to just kind of determine what kind of trader you are. If you like breakouts, then 380 becomes very, very interesting. If you like pullbacks, then I suppose you could try to get a little bit more aggressive and maybe play a pullback right around there. But if you want to be a little bit more conservative, then that's where I'd say that 252, 253 mark comes into play. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and tricky chart to talk about because there's a lot of perspective that goes into it. If you are any sort of, shorter term trader and you were buying up around here for a swing trade or what have you, then yes, the chart, absolute train wreck today, big gap down, and then after the gap down the price went. But with that being said, if you care about more so the bigger picture, then overall, you could look at this as just one big old, so yes, there's been a pullback here, but if you look at what was going on before the pullback, you could draw yourself a bull flag pattern. Now, once again, I fully understand that if you're a day trader or, we're just hoping to buy and hold over a day or so, and you bought up around that area, then yeah, you definitely don't care about the bull flag. You don't care about this vantage point at all. But that's where I'm trying to separate out. Depending on how you would look at this is going to dictate what you think of the chart. So big picture wise, you can see the price still has plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. It's still plenty high above that upward sloping pink line there, which on my chart denotes a very famous, very well-known 200 period moving average. As I zoom back in here, though, to take a look at it from a nearer term standpoint, first key level of resistance, if there is going to be any sort of recovery back upwards, going to be right there at $14.70. And then you'll also want to watch that purple line moving forward, the 50 period moving average, but one hurdle at a time. And again, that first hurdle right there at 1470. As far as near term areas of support, nothing fancy at all. Just asking the question, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And bleeding finally essentially stopped down about $14.20. So is this a good or bad looking chart? That really just depends on what your strategy going in was. Next one, NKLA, and not a whole lot of things to report other than just kind of reiterating the levels I talked about before, but that's important because it goes to show that you got to think that there's going to be that many more people watching these levels, and when you have a lot of people watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And the first level, that nothing new to report, but still got to keep an eye on 75 cents. You can see opening 30 minutes of the day, price came up there and got rejected right from that red line, which I talked about on Friday, and then dropped all the way down here. Now, I am going to make one adjustment here now that we have more data, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this area of support down towards that 67-cent mark. Now, the one thing to note, though, is whenever levels of support do need to be adjusted in the downwards direction, assuming you're bullish, that is not a good sign. But the good news is it's not like that's a severely lower low. I mean, yeah, the previous low was right there, and had this one been, all the way down here, that would have been a little bit different, but I mean, it was literally right there. So yes, technically a lower low, but nothing that I would consider drastic. So really just continues to be a sideways channel here. Top of the channel resistance, 75 cents. Bottom of the channel support down there at 67. Next in here, KTTA, and there's no doubt about it, this is a very ugly looking chart. Big gap up, price ran right up to there, and I think some poor souls were buying up around that area. And then from there, it has pulled back very, very drastically. In fact, as I speak right now, you can see this thing is continuing to go to new lows on the day. But with all that being said, yes, it's an ugly chart, but you longer time viewers know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. So if you like to play those situations where you think everybody else is giving up and everybody else is waving the white flag, then this is one of those situations that could really fit in for you, because you have a very interesting area down here around this 35 cent mark. And not only is that a former area of resistance, so therefore potential support, but you can also notice that you have these moving averages down here. You have the 50 period down here. You have that pink line, the 200 period. So in other words, you have quite a bit of just a general area of potential support. And I say potential because, again, no guarantees. I can't say that the price is for sure going to bounce down there, but it does seem to be one of those areas where if the price gets even more ugly, could it stabilize out? And then this is where it curls back upwards. Certainly a valid question to throw out there, and that's what a watch list is all about. To find unique, to find interesting situations, and not rush out and start buying stuff, but to watch it. So if you like these sorts of situations, if you find these sorts of situations interesting, then yeah, keep an eye on it. If not, then this one, won't be on your watch list. But if you like penny stocks, you like these penny stocks where it's looking like it's game over and everybody's going to be giving up, and then it turns around right at that moment, then this is one to keep an eye on. Next one here, AMC. Very, very nice move today, especially when you factor how things started off. Opening 30 minutes, not good at all. Came down here, broke through that area of support, spent a little bit of time below that support right there at 680, and then the rest is history. Very nice move up. As I speak right now, that candle is trying to potentially go up and retest these highs. But all things considered, very, very healthy day. I'm going to make one adjustment and move this level down here as support to that 673 mark, which now you can see there's a couple more data points. So you had that previous bounce area, and that's right where it bounced from here. That's kind of irrelevant given how much this price went up. So what I'm very curious about moving forward now is I want to get a trend line in place. Is this trend line right here, which the price is very, very close to doing battle with. So that's going to be my first question going into tomorrow is, can the price push up through that level? If it does, then the price does enter into essentially a bit of a blue sky breakout territory. As you look here, nothing really major until up here at that 750-ish area. Now, that's not, let me be very clear. I'm not saying that if the price breaks that trend line, it's going straight up to 750. My point here is that there is some space from the technical chart standpoint that suggests it could pick up some further momentum. But yeah, one step at a time. You can see right now, as I speak, the price is pushing up towards that trend line. Can it push through it? The next couple of days looking like they're going to be pretty entertaining. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online web class that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. You can click to sign up. Or if you're watching on my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live online class. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and I want to add in a new level here because it's seemingly going to be very, very important moving forward now that we got more data points with it. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing new to report. Still have that trend line right there. You have that overarching level up there at 246.75. And I suppose in the very near term, you could even classify that purple line there as a resistance level. But the level that I think a lot more people are going to be watching moving forward, myself included, is this area right here at 237.50. Going back through the history of things, you can see acted as support a couple more times. And then you look late morning, early afternoon, acted as support again. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible that if the price comes down here, it could get a bounce? Yeah, that's very plausible. Is it also plausible that there could be some bears watching it saying, if that level fails, I think it could pick up some downside momentum. That's also a very valid way to look at it. Point here being, you got to think that there's going to be a lot of eyeballs watching that level, and when lots of eyeballs are watching the same area, it can produce dynamic movements just based on self-fulfilling prophecy. So overall, keep a close eye on that area. Next one here, AMD, and higher highs and higher lows. This upwards trend continues. Just such a strong chart. So updates need to be done. Nothing fancy. Going to go ahead and delete that level out as it served its purpose for now. First key update based on foundational rule and levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see it act as support. So moving forward, 131, we'll call it, going to be that level that you want to see. Now, if the price falls below that area, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed because you still have plenty of other areas of support. You have the 50 period moving average, you have the 200 period moving average, and other ones. But in terms of, what would make the chart look the absolute healthiest, that would be if the price can stay above 131. But again, if the price falls below it, does not mean that the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. In terms of areas of resistance, level here that you got to think most people have done, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. It's just throwing that trend line into play right there. Because then from that angle of things, you can also get yourself a nice little pattern. So we have our resistance, have a support, have a nice upwards move there. So, essentially a bull pennant type pattern here. But you don't have to overcomplicate it. If you just want to keep an eye on that trend line right there, I think that's one that, could produce some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. But all in all, higher highs, higher lows, and that's the name of the game. Next one here, BITF. Overall, good looking chart, but that goes back to what I talked about previously. It's just a matter of perspective. I mean, you can see right here, long-term standpoint, this thing is putting in higher highs. It's got plenty of opportunity to build higher lows. I mean, it could come all the way down here. And if you look at that low and then compare it to that one and that one and that one and this one down here, and envision those as stair steps, you'd still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And like I said, that's with me assuming that it pulls back all the way to that area. I'm not saying that'll occur. I'm just trying to illustrate how the overall trend is still plenty healthy. In terms of supports in the very near term, you can see so far so good. The price is doing a great job of respecting that purple line there. 50 period moving average going back in history. You can see it did a good job of respecting it there. Then once again, this morning respected it. And then all afternoon long, you can see it's basically been surfing right along that level right there. So if the price is the surfer and that purple line is the wave, I mean, it's been doing a good job of just surfing that area. But if the price does bounce up from there, first key level is just based on that update, which I've said already, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So initial level will be 235, and then after that, essentially pushing up here right around the 260-ish area, these former highs here. But one hurdle at a time. Let's see if the price can first get above that 235 mark. But all things considered, assuming you care about things from the big picture point of view, the big picture chart is still completely healthy. Next one, CLSK, and bigger pullback here. But again, from the grand scheme of things, everything is still perfectly fine. So a lot of these that have been having strong uptrends, finally starting to act human a little bit. I do want to map out this level. And keep in mind, $8.10, I'm going to call it a level of support, and an important level of support. But even if the price were to come down here, I mean, think about what that would still give. If the price comes down there and hovers out, that'd still give you a set of lows there, lows there, lows there, and lows even lower than that. And you'd still have those overall uptrend lines doing just fine. But nonetheless, I'm going to consider that an important area of support. But once more, by no means a do or die level of support. But if the price can stay above there, then yeah, from a bigger picture standpoint, as you just saw, that would illustrate a good, healthy, higher low there. In terms of areas of resistance, I think the focus point at this point is all about that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. And I say all that because you can see this was a good former area of support both there and there. But then as soon as the price fell below it, you can see this morning bounce back up. And then as soon as it got to right around that general area, classic example of that support now acting as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, keep a close eye on that purple line. But as I've been saying, kind of a broken record, assuming you do care about the bigger picture point of view, the chart still has plenty of opportunity to build those higher bases. And that's what you want to see. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise, and it's a very popular ETF just because it allows you access at a much lower price point. So yeah, NASDAQ had a good day today, and this one also had a good day today. And as you can see, the price is broken above both these red lines. So a lot of house cleaning here, just going to get rid of these levels. And now newest update right here, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So 45.70 going to be that ideal level, meaning, as I've said in other ones, that's going to make the chart look the absolute healthiest. Now, if the price drops below 45.70, does not mean that the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that, because once again, you still have your moving averages. In fact, the purple line now has a good upward slope to it. So given the 50 period moving average, if you want to just envision that as a trend line that's going to draw itself for you, that line's just going to draw itself and look something like that. So from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line, everything is still completely fine. But yeah, preferably if the price can stay above 45.70, that would be great. Now, what about areas of resistance? You can see here that we are having to go back. In fact, let's just do this. Oh, this is a good problem. All right, let's just go to the daily time frame. Oh, wow. Even the daily time frame. So there we go. Finally found one. And we're going back literally months upon months upon months. So next one right there at 49.95, which is coming from back here in essentially May. So a long time ago of 2022 is where that area is coming from. So in other words, the price has not been, nope. I'm an idiot because there's one actually right here. So, all right. I hyped things up a little bit. $47 is the next key one. I missed that one area right there. So that's where that area of resistance is coming from. But still, it's been months upon months since the price has been up that high. And with the break there, you can see that the price has got some, more strength potentially to the upside. So we are looking at the daily time frame. Let's go back to the 30-minute time frame, and you can see what that looks like. And then squeezing things down. I mean, you still can't see that. There it is right there. That's where the next big battleground is. But more of the story, it's always a good problem when you have to go so far back in the chart's history that you start missing areas of resistance. But very strong move today. Great start to the week. So we'll see if this is just the start of a whole lot more momentum. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used, definitely go get signed up for the free class later this week. It'll be Thursday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do 2 things for me. Hit the like button and leave a comment, even if it's just say hi or a smiley face or a watch list or telling me what you traded today. But those 2 things help out the channel. They help out with the algorithm. And, they just communicate to me that you're enjoying. And as long as you know you're enjoying, I'll continue to do these videos. So thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.